All right, welcome, Dagny. I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Okay, let's jump right in. I love to start hearing a little bit about you. So tell us who you are, where you're phoning in from, what you do, and what got you into it. Why do you do the thing that you do today?
Yeah, so I am a dual, sorry, my cat just knocked something over. Love that. So I am a dual board certified psychiatric nurse practitioner and mental health nurse, or psychiatric and family nurse practitioner. I am in Central Illinois. I, of course, have a husband, two kids, all that fun stuff. Um, I opened my practice, Occult Mental Health. We're almost two, I would say. Yeah, we turned two in December. We offer a different approach, I guess, to mental health. So I've been in the medical field, oh God, it's about 10 years now. And I kept seeing we just fail people. We fail people miserably, especially in the world of mental health. And I wanted to do mental health differently. So that's kind of where it all started. And that was kind of how I found my passion, I guess you could say, in doing what I do.
Okay, so I have two questions for you already. One, tell us about the name, Occult Mental Health. Tell us yeah, what was the inspiration for that?
Yeah, so I'm a huge true crime nerd, of course. Uh, Very typical. So love true crime. Um, but I, you know, remember hearing the word occult all the time, and it was always had this like dark connotation to it and like kind of just not a good connotation. So I actually did my research and looked it up, and it just meant like mystical and kind of something we don't understand. And all I could think was how fitting for mental health. Like we don't understand, why we are the way we are. Obviously genetics and whatever, but like we don't understand the human psyche. We don't understand, where we came from or why we have a conscious, what makes us tick.
Yep.
So I loved it, and then I'm not gonna lie, I my practice isn't sunshine and rainbows. Um, my practice isn't white sterile walls and happiness. That's just when I see my patients, I'm not seeing them at their happiest where they're in their life isn't sunshine and rainbows. We're not, when you go to a clinic and you see a rainbow on the wall and it's like, oh, just hang in there. And it's like, well, how do you tell that to someone who like it just kind of seemed like a slap in the face.
Mhm.
It makes you feel uncomfortable to talk about the things you really want to talk about. If you don't embrace the the dark and weird parts of yourself, how do you even talk to that to a provider? Like if you go somewhere and you're met with that, like it just doesn't bode well. So I felt having a place that is a little more dark and is a little more like, yeah, we're a little weird here, and that's okay. And I think it really like opens the door for conversations um, about not being okay. Like I
Yeah.
so that's kind of a bit of a, kind of all around
Yeah,
thing.
but what I hear you say, I mean, it's like imagine if you walk in and what you see around you doesn't look like you, right? Like if it doesn't reflect, if you're like, this is not how I feel, then the unconscious brain will say things like, I don't belong here, or that the dark things that I need to talk about, those we don't do that here. So I can appreciate what you're
Yeah,
saying.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, and the other thing is like on the flip side of that, patients come in and they're like, wow, it's real weird here. So
Yeah.
clearly I can't be this weird, and they're it's gonna be okay to
Yeah.
talk. those things.
Yeah.
Um,
They're
so
like whatever they've been dealing with, they could for sure handle me. That's
exactly,
great.
exactly. So yeah, and we have like I was very nervous initially with opening it and like with how I approach things. And it was like, that common, is it going to be accepted? Are people going to like this? Like, is this too weird? Am I like too different? Uh,
Uh-huh.
and it's gone over very well. Turns out
Uh-huh.
I do feel this way, and
Uh-huh.
I'm not the only one. And people love that too. Like, oh, look, I'm not the only person that likes this or feels like this. And so yeah.
Yeah. Well, people match authenticity. I mean, I feel like the word authenticity is a bit of a buzzword these days, but that's when you come in your raw, genuine self, whatever that looks like, the decor that's there, people feel that and they're like, oh, it's okay for me to bring my raw, authentic, true self also.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So before I have so many questions about all of that and being accepted and doing the gag and go vomit and do the thing. But first, I want to go back to something you said in your opening, which was that like the mental health system is failing people. And so I'm curious, tell us why. Like, what is it that's happening that you say this is us failing them? And then like, what does it look like to not fail them? Like, what were you hoping to do or are hoping to do differently?
Yeah. So, the biggest ways we fail is like there's just not enough mental health providers out there. Like there's just not. And
Mm-hmm.
granted, like I can't fix that. I get it. I mean, I can be a mental health provider and be out there for people. But the other big way we fail people is, um, and I'm going to be real frank and not quite PG-13, but we treat people like shit. If a patient comes to you and is like, I'm really struggling with feeling overwhelmed and I'm panicking all of the time and I can't leave my house, and you're going to shame them because they're asking to be screened for ADHD, or you're going to shame them by making them take a drug test to prove that they're on the medications they're already on. Like, I get people struggle with addiction, but when you treat them like that, that's not promoting honesty and that's not promoting, like if I ever have a concern with a patient, you know, I think that they're having an issue with substances. Guess what? I'm going to have a conversation with you and ask you about it. It's as simple as that. I'm not going to drug test you so you feel dirty about yourself.
So
Like,
you feel
I'm
like you're at a probation office?
yeah, like what are we doing to people? Oh, it's a controlled substance. I get that. I understand that. But if your patient is following all the rules, showing up to appointments, not asking for refills early, and like really sharing with you what's going on, why are you making them feel like that? Like it's just not or a lot in my area. Patients would go and be like, I'm really struggling. And their provider would tell them to, oh, I think you just need to pray about it. And it's like, okay, I think that's a beautiful thing. And I think that that can really help you, but that's not going to fix the chemical imbalance in your brain. Like,
Mhm.
that's not going to fix that. Um, so we just fail people with that. And then like my office offers, we do TMS, which is transcranial magnetic stimulation. It's been around since 2018. It's got better results than antidepressants, and yet nobody talks about it. Nobody, gives that as an option to people. Same with, we do ketamine therapy at my office, whether that be the FDA approved Spravato or ketamine infusions. It is over 90% effective, I have seen in my patients for suicidality. So I have a patient comes in, they're feeling suicidal, we do an infusion, they leave not suicidal.
Wow.
So, and we don't talk about that. We don't offer that. I have patients who have come to me and they told me, for example, I had a patient who was a cancer patient, had come to me because she's in a lot of pain, really struggling with depression, um, and wanted to talk about an infusion. but she was so scared because her doctor told her that if she came and saw me, he would drop her as a patient
Why?
because she's drug seeking and she's going to take drugs. And I'm like, why would you not want to help your patient? Your patient's being open and honest with you, communicating with you. They're not hiding anything. And you're going to treat them like that and tell them, well, if you get a ketamine infusion, you're not going to be our patient anymore. And it's like, that's not how you treat someone who is struggling and who is in pain. That's just not what you should do. I've had other patients who, they're suffering and they come to me for even FDA approved. So insurance covers it. The government has approved it, Spravato, and their
Is
primary.
Spravato the troches or
No, it's the nasal spray. So it's the nasal
okay.
spray that's covered by insurance. And
Okay.
I've had patients come to me to be evaluated for that. And they're like, well, I can't tell my provider, their primary care provider. And I'm like, well, why? Like, this is treatment. Like, and they're like, well, they told me that if I did this, they wouldn't give me my Adderall prescription anymore. And I'm like, so are they saying that you can't have ADHD and depression? Like,
Yeah. So tell me that, I mean, so we see, like, we're hearing some of the challenges and blocks and barriers and obstacles to it. What's the yes to it? Like, why is it that, like, what is the value of TMS? What is ketamine? Like, what have you seen? Like, specifically, I know you kind of hit on depression, but tell us for the listener who's like, I have never heard of TMS. I've never heard of ketamine outside of like horse tranquilizers, right? But
that's scary.
what's
Hear
it
that
used
one
for?
more time.
Right? Like this is how we have misinformation and stigma, right? So let's do some stigma busting and just you tell us about TMS. What's the evidence? Like what's it used for? What are the outcomes? And then the same for ketamine and why these might be the thing that offers hope to people who feel like they're out of options.
Yeah, so well, let's start with TMS. So, TMS is a beautiful thing that is not a medication. So, you're not stuck taking a medication forever. Um, it works by stimulating the part of the brain that produces serotonin and dopamine naturally. So, whereas when you take an SSRI or an antidepressant, you're increasing serotonin and dopamine in your brain. However, it's affecting the whole body, and that's
Mhm.
not good. Like
Yeah.
that's what gives you those nasty side effects. Whereas with the TMS, it's staying in the brain. It's only in the brain. Um, you see 86% of patients have reduction in depressive symptoms. I think it's 63% of those patients keep that reduction in symptoms after a year. So there's that potential to actually go off of medication, to not be on medication. Um,
And tell again for the people who've never heard of TMS, tell them like what's the machine, what's the process? Because it's not a medication. This is a
yeah,
thing that goes on your head. Yes.
it looks like a dentist chair.
Yeah.
So you recline in a dentist chair, a little thing goes on your head. It's about this big and it goes right about here.
Mhm.
And what it does is we're
For
not
those who are
treating.
listening and not watching the YouTube videos, it's about the size of a cell phone. So about a
Yeah,
rectangle cell phone. It goes kind of on the top of your skull.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yep. And you'll hear it makes a clicking noise and you can get kind of like a tapping.
Mhm.
It's what it feels like. So biggest side effect with it is a headache
Mhm.
that goes away with
Yeah.
Tylenol. Like it's really not.
But the tapping is not shocking. I think some people they hear TMS and they're like ECTs, right? They think
Yeah.
of electroconvulsive shock therapy, and this is not that. Yeah.
No, no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. So ECT, you're hoping to elicit like a mass seizure to kind of shake up the brain. So patients, if you go for ECT, you are actually anesthetized, so put to sleep, and you have probes on your head. And basically, we're trying to elicit a seizure, shake up the brain enough to where maybe it figures something out.
Right. Yeah. And that is reserved for people who are like catatonic. Like you have, I mean, like usually like really, really, really
Yeah.
treatment resistant. Yeah.
What's wild is I have patients who've had ECT, have never been offered TMS, have never been offered ketamine
Right.
therapy. And it's like, what is happening? What kind
We
of
we
person is
missed a step. with
Yeah,
this
like
system.
let's go straight from failing oral antidepressants straight to ECT therapy.
Yeah.
Like, what do we know? Like, there are options in between. Like, what is happening?
Yeah. What's the
So,
standard number of sessions one might do with TMS to
yeah,
get the 80%, 86% reduction?
36.
36.
There's 36
Weekly or multiple times?
days. Yeah, so 36 sessions. It's like 5 times a week for
Mm.
like 4 to 6 weeks, and then we can kind of taper off to like 3 sessions
Mm.
towards the end. It is also FDA approved for OCD as well. And then the most wonderful FDA clearing that they've received, which makes me super excited, is for adolescents. So
Oh,
it is first line therapy now for adolescents with depression.
over medications rather than, yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. And I'm a parent myself, I would rather have my kid do that than take a medication forever. Like,
Especially with the side effects for minors and SSRIs, and yeah, that makes sense.
so that's your TMS. It
Okay.
is covered in most situations, covered by insurance. Now, it isn't first line yet for adults,
Uh,
so you have to trial an antidepressant and fail a couple. So there's that issue. Um, but most patients, by the time I see them, they've tried 4, 5, 6 antidepressants, and we're just not getting anywhere. Um, so the next one, the Spravato.
mhm.
So that is the FDA approved intranasal ketamine. That one's covered by insurance. Um, it is a little more time intensive. You know, you're at the office for several hours. You cannot drive after you do a treatment, and it is done in office. So you come to my office. You do the nasal spray, and then you chill, you vibe. You're basically sitting in a chair with some headphones on. You have a TV, like you just vibe. Very relaxing. You can journal, color. The beauty, I like to think of Spravato, and how I've heard another provider talk about it, is think of a person with depression, PTSD, anxiety, as having like potholes in their neural pathways.
Mm.
So things just aren't functioning like they should. Every dose of Spravato or ketamine helps fill those potholes. So it can help improve neuroplasticity. I'm not going to say it regrows nerves or anything like that, but it can help make new pathways. It
Mhm.
can help repair some of the damage. So you'll see, it's really real. Like, I see the best improvement with like suicidality. You see a lot of improvement in that, and like severe depression, and it works pretty quickly. So that's the biggest difference I see with like TMS and Spravato. TMS, we need to go, like, you need several sessions before you might start feeling the effects, whereas with the Spravato, like, same day, usually.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so with this, because I know there are some other what you can inject it, you can have the troches that you put in your
Yeah.
mouth. Like
So
what's
I I don't do we do the infusion.
uh,
I like that. It's out of pocket, so that can be cost prohibitive for patients, but like severe suicidality, I like an infusion for, and then severe PTSD, I like an infusion for.
yeah.
Because it, with like PTSD, it can help people pull them out of themselves, because sometimes they're their own biggest roadblock. So
Mm.
ketamine can kind of pull you out of yourself to where you can see things a little differently, kind of work through things differently, because you're kind of out of body. Um, so
Is it, I mean, this is a psychedelic. So do you get up to to a dose that where people are I mean, you use the word vibing. I'm like, are they tripping? Like, do you start some people like are they hallucinating? I mean, is it like that psychedelic sort of
yeah,
yeah.
so how I like to put it like Spravato. So the troches are like light version. Like, you can do those at home, very microdose. Like, most people don't, like, some people dissociate a little bit on them, but it's very mellow. Like, very mellow. you're not like a mild dissociation. Most people just say they feel a little more relaxed and or like will journal and
Mhm.
draw and color. Don't really see a whole lot of stuff. The Spravato, the first couple times can kind of hit a little harder. So mild dissociation, usually still like floaty, calm. We have like music specifically for ketamine infusion. Same with like the visuals on the TV are like low stimuli.
Mhm.
Uh, so the infusions are more intense. I'm not gonna lie. I like to talk about it as we're walking up to the K hole, maybe looking at it a little bit, and then walking back. Like
Uh-huh.
you're not, we're not full on
And when you
going.
say the K-hole, like you're, for those who are like, what is a K-hole? Like where you're just like, we're gonna go lose our mind.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
yeah,
that
okay.
K-hole is what people think when they think of K.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm losing my mind. I'm not
Yeah.
breathing. I'm seeing everything. No, we're not doing that. Like,
Right.
it's not. Some people will see colors. Um, most people, like I said, it's very calm, and that's the biggest thing, especially with any ketamine, is setting your intention. Like, how do you want this trip to go? Like with the infusions particularly, we have, I have on staff a ketamine psychotherapist. So I like for her to see patients before an infusion, whether a day before, a week before, to really talk about what are you wanting out of this infusion? What are we trying to get? You know, what does that look like? Here are some things, you know, like she helps prepare them for the infusion. And then we always recommend after an infusion seeing the therapist again so we can so she can talk about what you saw, what you experienced, how you felt, and kind of help integrate that. Because I found, and this sounds wild, my first couple patients who I did the series of infusions, so I was like brand new to doing, you know, the mood infusions. They'd come back to me and they're like, I don't know what to do. And I was like, well, what's happening? What are you feeling? They're like, well, I'm not depressed and I don't want to kill myself. And now I don't know how to live my life. So
Yeah.
it was
Hmm.
like a very, and I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. I just
Right.
figured, okay, you're not
It's like
depressed.
sobriety, right? It's like the difference between not using and actually being in recovery. It's like I always think of the mobile. It's like you, like a baby mobile, like you remove a piece and you're like, oh, it doesn't, like, what are you going to put in its place?
Yeah, they're like,
Yeah.
my patient was like, I don't know I don't know how to live my life right now. Like, I don't know what I
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
Now I'm almost more anxious because I don't know what life's like without my depression. So, uh,
Interesting.
yeah, so it's I love ketamine therapy, but it isn't it's a I screen, you know, you can't just walk in and be like, "Hey, I want a ketamine infusion." That's not how that works. You
Yeah.
know, have an appointment with me, we review your meds. We talk about side effects of the you know, the treatment. We talk about other treatment options. And then I kind of, you know, I'm the one who kind of makes that final decision on like, is this a good option for you or not? Like sometimes it's not
So
what.
for the person listening, because again, we know the stats that in the US at least, if you either have a personal experience with mental health or you know someone or love someone who does. So there's a really good chance people listening have people in their life who have mental health diagnoses. So what's the profile of like, you know you're a good candidate for TMS, you know you're a good candidate for ketamine if. What does that look like?
If you're depressed,
Uh-huh.
if we're depressed, if we've trialed medications, unfortunately, every insurance makes you try medications. So, like, if we're having suicidal thoughts, if we've tried several medications with no improvement, um, biggest thing is ketamine does increase your blood pressure. So, you know, if you have uncontrolled blood pressure or history of strokes, probably not going to be for you because
Yeah.
we don't want to give you a stroke, like
Right.
because we don't want to do that. So
Harm reduction. Good
yeah,
work.
yeah, we're not living that lifestyle.
Mhm.
For TMS, you know, again, depressed, have tried medications. Um, the biggest the biggest contraindication for that is going to be metal in your head. So metal in your head, implanted devices into your head, or history of seizure disorder.
Uh-huh.
Those are the big things for that.
Okay, so now I'm going to pivot a little bit and I want to go back to what you sort of brought up, the idea of, is this going to be accepted? Like you've built a business that maybe doesn't fit the traditional mold of mental health care. So, kind of a two-part question. What did it take for you personally? Like, how did you find the courage to go against the grain? Like, what did it require? And then also, what have you discovered on the other side of taking that risk?
Yeah, so I myself have a touch of ADHD, and like when I get onto something, I'm doing it. Like you can't
Hyperfixation.
oh, I'll fixate like wild. Like I'll procrastinate other things and like do something for years, but then all of a sudden I'm
When it's
doing
time. Yeah.
that. I've always been I guess you could say like strong-willed and bullheaded. As my mom would say, I know I was a terror through my teen years. Like I know it. I feel I love my mother and I feel bad for her at that time because I was rough. Um, but the biggest thing was I had been in healthcare for so long and I kind of had started to get kind of jaded and started seeing people in a light that I didn't want to see them in. Um, and I needed something else and I was tired of working for other people and like that's more of a political like nurse practitioner first physician thing. Like I was tired of working my butt off for other people to profit them and not myself. And then give care that like I'm not going to say I wasn't proud of. Like I took care of people to the best of my ability and did, checked all the boxes out all the, but it's like you just I wanted to practice in a way that I wanted to practice, and I couldn't do that working for someone else. Like, I couldn't have honest conversations where I told patients, like, hey, that's not working in your life. We need to do something else. Or like holding people accountable. Like you're doing X, Y, and Z, and you're continuing to do X, Y, and Z, and you're struggling. And it's like maybe X, Y, and Z isn't working. We need to do something else. And you can't ruffle feathers. Whereas now, like if you don't like it, go somewhere else. Like
Mhm.
I'm going to hold you accountable. And have honest conversations with you. And, that's you're either going to appreciate that or you're not. And if not, that's okay. I'm not mad at you. You can, but
Yeah.
there are other places to go.
Listen, what you're talking about here, I know that people are listening who are like, man, if I had, could she come rub up against me and give me a little sprinkle of that? Because so often it's so hard to give ourselves permission to believe that not everyone is made for us and we're not made for everyone. Just like like I always use the puzzle piece analogy, like not every puzzle piece connects to your puzzle piece. And we
No,
either make them wrong or us wrong, but you're like, this is the way I want to run my clinic. I get that it's not everyone, not everyone's puzzle piece connects here. No
yeah.
hard feelings. There is a place for you, and this people belong here.
And
That belong here.
if I'm being honest,
Hmm.
I got so much pushback when I first like was making it like even which I love my husband and he fully supports me, but even initially he's like, that's kind of aggressive. And I was like, I get it, but I don't want to be for everyone. Like I've come to that conclusion as an adult. Like I don't want to be for everyone. And if I am for everyone, how you've lost yourself. If you try and be everything for everybody else, you've lost yourself. So I've made my clinic to where if you don't like the name or you don't like the dark kind of vibe of it, cool, go somewhere else. Like you've already weeded yourself out to where we're
Yeah.
probably not going to vibe anyway. So
Yeah.
that's okay. I'm more than not upset.
Yeah.
Uh,
I just want to hear, I just want to like bold print, underline, circle what you're saying because so often we hesitate. We're afraid of the rule in and rule out,
yeah,
right? Like that's what you're saying. Like, yes, and I think I don't know what you mean by dark exactly, but I can see like the color on your walls are dark colored, right?
yeah,
Like, so that's amazing when you're like when someone come in like, oh, I'm either a yes or a no to this, and the faster we can find this out, the better. But we start associating no's with like failure and problems instead of it's actually the thing that gets you closer to what you want. If people
Yeah.
rule in or rule out, you're like, that's amazing. That means I'm calling in the people who this is going to be amazing for. And there's not going to be a huge wait list for them because I don't have all of the wrong people standing in front of them. Not the
Yeah.
wrong people, but the wrong people for this. Right?
Yes, it's very much that. And it's, again, it has gone over much better than I expected. So I was like, oh, yeah, there is a lot more people like me out here. So this is
Uh-huh.
cool.
Yeah,
And
so
we,
okay, so tell me right there. So okay, I can't help myself. I have to call this out also. Is that when we let our light shine or our dark shine, like when we let ourselves be seen, gives people the opportunity to show up who are for you. And that's what you're like, I had no idea. Like maybe there are people who are like me. Maybe there are people who want what I have to offer in the way I have to offer it.
and I think, Jessica, you probably see it too. And I see it in my patients all the time, especially as adults. It's getting harder and harder to find our tribe, to find our people, to find, so like, I like that my office gives my patients a safe space and like, granted we don't do meeting groups, which I'm getting close to being like, we need a weirdo like like get
Group
together.
session.
Yeah, not even a group session, but like for everyone to make friends because like I'm
Yeah.
finding, and I'm assuming you see it too, is it's so hard for people to find other people and it's hard, like it's really playing a toll, and like especially like you're seeing all the stuff politically and all of this, the craziness we're in now, but like men for sure are struggling with loneliness and like finding other people like them that are like positive and safe people, um and like finding like people that just aren't super crazy political and aren't really like just want to be themselves and like not have wild one way or the other, and it's like, where are these people, where do they exist? And so I feel like that's a huge thing that I my office has kind of helped with in our community, is like bringing a safe place for people where, like you said, they
Yeah.
people know they're going to be accepted, they
Yeah.
know that their weirdness is just fine, nobody
Uh-huh.
worth.
Permission to be here, right? I think I'm thinking of the Shel Silverstein poem, like the Blue Mask poem, I think it's called Mask, but it was like these two blue people, but they both carried masks, and like they spent their whole life looking for other blue people, but they couldn't find the blue people because the other blue people had masks on. So I
Yeah,
think what you're talking about is you took the mask off,
yeah,
so then other people could come. And I think that's your question. Yes, like the the courage to go first, right? Like the courage to be the one that put the mask down first so that their blue self could be seen and then the other blue people could come. I know you're not blue, but but the analogy holds up because I think, yeah, what you're talking about is hard. Adult relationships. I moved to Texas probably about 7 years ago, and I was like, I am taking applicants. Like, where are my friends? Like, who is going to be my friend here? How do I
yeah.
find them? Where are they at?
It's so hard because social media kind of just, I have a love hate. I Let's be real. I hate social media. It's not my vibe. I don't like this pretend like everything is great. Here's a highlight reel, but like not really saying that.
Mhm.
Like this is like just portraying your life as this perfect, beautiful thing. And life is beautiful, but
Mhm.
it's beautiful because it's happy and it's shitty.
Yeah.
Like that's why it's beautiful.
Fact.
Uh, so I, I just I feel like we lost being able to find other people with social media. And then, like, a lot, like, I don't enjoy drinking. And that's another thing, is it's like not everybody wants to go to the bars. Not everybody wants to, like, party. But it's like, why can we not have, like, crafting get-togethers or like more D&D game like
Yes, ma'am. Did literally when I was in Iowa dating he wasn't my husband at the time, but long distance dating. And he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to my girlfriend's house and like we're gonna do arts and crafts. And I think we're probably gonna do a tarot card pull. Like, this is a Saturday night. Where are my people? Are people lining up right now to just submit applications to be my friend? It's fine.
seriously, I want like, can I find friends? And then you add motherhood into that, and that gets it all weird anyway. But can I find friends that like don't like I'm okay with a margarita, but I don't want to go to a bar and I really don't want that many people around. But also, like, can we maybe look at some astrology things? Can we like read a book, like watch
We're
a
always gonna
documentary?
sit around do our human design together. Just come over. It's fine. Yeah.
And like I want weird stuff. Like one week we can do crafts, the next week let's watch a documentary on nuclear fission. Like let's get all over the place.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
But
And also, let's do it virtually half the time so we don't even have to leave our house. So,
seriously,
if anyone is listening to this right now, just know we're starting a club. It's gonna be hybrid, in person and virtual, because I can't be bothered to human quite that much. I want to love you, but like from my couch, and I just want to be able to like log out as soon as I'm done.
yeah. Yeah, and I want no pressure. Like I also don't love social interaction all that much where like I have to talk to everybody and am I talking to everybody enough? And is someone feeling like I want when I'm done, click. Like,
Yeah.
bye Felicia. I'll see you
Yeah.
next.
Listen, so this just tells me they're at least sample size two humans because you and I, like, I feel like we might have shared brains here. So let's bring it. So this for the list, as they're hearing all of this, I just want to give a shout out to the people who, like, whether it's starting a business, changing a career, trying a new path to their mental wellness, finding friends, for the people who are afraid to take the leap because it's out of their comfort zone. So that person who is like, who's listening, who's saying, they're like standing at the edge, right? But they're holding back. What do you say to them to say, this is the little thing that you need?
Yeah, I think it's just that. Like for me, it was um again, I hyperfixated, which whatever, cool. But it's just like don't set an expectation of yourself. Like for me, it was like watching a couple YouTube videos here and there about what it takes to build a business and how do I start this. And then it was like, okay, I'll form an LLC. And then it was, okay, well, now I'll get a bank account with my LLC. And then it was, okay, let me watch some videos on like best ways to do this. And oh, now I'll look at some charting systems. And oh, now like it's the little things. It's the little things. Like you don't have to build your business next week. Like we don't
Right.
have to do
You
that.
don't
I
even
mean,
have to tell anyone. You can get the LLC in secret. Yeah.
yeah, like it's the little things. Like
Yeah.
if you're wanting to start a business, stop thinking of like, oh, I got to do it right now, or oh, it's got to be this whole thing. Like, no, it can be whatever you want it to be. It can be as big as you want or as little as you want. Like I personally hate corporate bullshit. Like, if I hear, like, you're an excellent leader because of this, or like, good team thing, like, no, go away. Like, I don't want to
If
hear,
you say circle back,
yeah, please, if I hear it, I
no
am,
corporate speak aloud.
yeah, no
Uh,
corporate speak. I don't want to hear about any like leader qualities I've got. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. I don't want to, like, if that's, it ain't it. But I think for people wanting to start a business, it's just do one little thing. Just do one little thing. Or, make a little to-do list. Like this is what I tell patients every day. Like I love to-do lists, but you have to do a to-do list right. If you put 400 pages of stuff you need to
oh,
do, that's
yeah,
not it.
yeah.
No, you ain't living that. No, three. Start at three little things you want to do for
Mhm,
the day, for the week, whatever. It has to be manageable and it has to be small.
mhm.
Start small, work your way up. I think
Yep.
and don't have the expectation of, oh, my business needs to be this, or oh, I saw, like, because I kept doing that to myself when I started. I was like, well, every other one looks like this, and oh man, like, am I even gonna be okay? Like, they're really busy, and I'm not. Like, what if I'm not busy? And what do I? Oh man, like, I see that they're advertising this and they're doing that. Should I do this? Should I? And no, like, my other thing is don't second guess yourself.
Mhm.
You want a niche, you don't want to be for everyone. If you're
Mhm.
for everybody, you turn into Walmart where people go there because they're stuck going there and there's no other
I
option.
always say tofu. I'm like, I don't want to be tofu.
No.
Like, I just take on the flavor of everything around me. Well, okay, so if I'm summarizing, what I'm hearing is, and again, I mean, I know you're kind of given a business example. I think this applies to anything. When you're like, I am going to do something that I've not done before. one thing that you're talking about is the smallest next step. We think it has to be this giant thing. No, no, the one teeny tiniest, smallest next needle moving activity. Do that.
Yeah.
Also, second is supervise your brain for the compare and despair. Like it doesn't matter what somebody else is doing. We start to
Yeah.
comparing yourself. How human of you, and stop it, notice it, and carry on. And then you didn't say this, but I feel like it's implied, is also just that 10 seconds of courage. Like if you are willing to feel just a little nausea for even a few seconds, like that's all you need to like get over
Yes.
the little speed bump. Like
Yes.
hit send on the LLC paperwork. Hit,
Yes, exactly. Just do it. Just hit
yeah.
it and then cry about it later. That's what I tell people. Make the decision and then just go cry in the shower about it later. And
Yeah,
you can't, I'm also big on like what's gonna happen is gonna happen. I mean, you can try and mitigate it all you want, but like if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. Like if you're putting in this effort, it's either gonna go one way or it's not. And if it doesn't, cool. You learned from it.
yeah,
It's not the end of the world. Like if this business didn't do well, okay, take what you learned to make the next one better. Like you
yeah.
just have to look at it, I think, differently. And it's okay to, you can have doom and gloom and shame yourself for an afternoon. Like I said, go cry in the shower about it, but like limit it. We're
Yeah.
done. I cried for 30 minutes and now we gotta pull
On to
it
the next.
together. Yeah.
Carrying on. Yeah. But again, I don't want people to miss the thing that you said, which is can be so hard for perfectionist types and Enneagram ones out there, right? I don't know. I was like, are you an Enneagram 8? Do you know what Enneagram you are? Does this even mean? No. Okay. I need to find that out. Go search it up, Dagny, and tell me. Go
Okay.
do a quiz somewhere. But what you just said was really important. Is like when we do something, like we will hem and haw and all of the what ifs and stay stuck in indecision and inaction. But what you just said, just very neutrally, is either it works or it doesn't. And either way, that's really good information. So the more we can say yes to that, like the massive progress you're going to make, right? Because if you're just like, all I'm going to do is take this one next step, and either it does what I hope for or it doesn't. Either way, that's good intel. And from there, I'm going to pivot, I'm going to adjust, I'm going to iterate, I'm going to learn from it, I'm going to take another action. It either goes one way or another, like
Yeah,
full
and
stop.
it's
Yeah,
and it's again like you don't get better unless you fail. If you don't fail, you are never going to make progress. Like unless you're freakishly lucky and have some magical power, you're going,
horseshoes in your butt. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
you're going to fail, and that's okay. Like I
Yeah.
want to fail because if I fail, okay, this didn't work. What can I do next? How do I make this better? Or what do I do differently? Like, and same with my patient care. Like, I've, I've had struggles with the business growing, and I'll be the first to say, like, I have to get better. I need to put more systems in place. But if I didn't fail in doing, like, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know if I didn't fail at it.
Mhm.
So I think that, you have to have a, and it, again, always I want you to feel your feelings. Like we're not shoving them in a box and hiding them away. You can cry it, and I like to cry in the shower. Everybody can cry wherever you want, but cry about it, feel those things, but you can't stay in it.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. You got to feel it and then kind of not necessarily move on completely, but you have to feel it and then adjust.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, that happened. It really sucks, but now I need to do this. So yeah, it's definitely it's either gonna work or it's not, and if it's not, cool, great. Now I
Yeah, listen,
learned.
we all just need bumper stickers. It's either gonna work or it's not. Just full stop. Just so you know, y'all, whatever the thing is, either it's gonna work or it's not. And get on board with it, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
everybody makes mistakes. We all fail at something in our lives.
Yeah.
Nobody is perfect. Stop putting this perfection on social media. We all fail. Yeah, like sure, I'm not going to give my kids red dice 40, but on occasion, do they get some fruit snacks? Yeah, because I'm tired.
Here's your
Okay, and we're
Skittles.
moving on. Yeah, exactly. Take some damn Skittles. Like, yeah.
This is great. Okay, before I ask you my very last question, Dagny, please tell the listeners where they can connect with the work that you're doing, where they can learn more about occult mental health and follow along.
You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Occult Mental Health. We're the only one with that, so it's not super hard to find. Um, I don't have Twitter or TikTok because I feel too old for that. I maybe eventually I'll have a TikTok. I don't know. But
Yeah.
that's where you can find us. We also have a website, occultmentalhealth.com, if you have questions or are curious. We are always more than we welcome everyone's curiosity. Um, but yeah, that's where you can find us.
Perfect. Thank you. So, for my last question that I like to ask all the guests, what does it mean to you to live an unblocked life?
Um, I think kind of we just said it to be able to be okay with failure and to move on and to being unblocked, I think is being okay with my mistakes and moving past them and learning. I think being unblocked is a constant learning all the time, being open to new information, absorbing it, taking it in, um, and always, I'm not going to say always wanting more, but always wanting to improve yourself. Like,
Yeah.
and sometimes improvement's just acceptance too. So like accept yourself. But I think that's really what it is to be unblocked and to not care about what other people think. Like if you don't like it, go somewhere else. Like
There's your freedom card. If you don't like it, there's someplace else for you. Full stop.
exactly. And isn't that just the beauty of, freedom? And if you don't like it, go somewhere else. I don't have to like what you like, and you don't have to like what I like, and that's
Yeah.
okay.
There'd
That
be a
makes
lot less violence if we could embrace that. We didn't know this was going to be a violence reduction, but y'all, if we could make space for that, that like it's okay. If you don't like what I'm doing or the way I'm doing it, that's okay. There's a place for you and there's a place for me, and we
yeah.
don't have to punch each other about it.
No, no, like whatever two consenting adults do with themselves, as long as they ain't hurting, I mean, they might like the hurt, so that's okay. But like, it's not,
That's a whole different podcast
yes,
episode,
if
friends.
they're not harming each other, who am I to tell you what to do with your life? If I don't agree with it, cool, great, I'm going over here. Like,
Yeah.
bye. We don't have to be
There's a
friends.
place for you. Yeah,
We don't
there's a
have to
place at a table somewhere.
Yeah,
Yay.
we don't have to be friends, but I also don't have to threaten violence
Yeah.
on either.
We
Like,
don't have to be friends, but if you guys want to hang out, sometimes in person, sometimes virtually, maybe have one cocktail, but not too many, and have arts and crafts, just know we are taking applications. You can
yes.
connect with us on social media and we'll take it from there. I appreciate your time today, Dagny. Thank you for sharing all of your experience and wisdom and truth and honesty and bold, brazen energy. I appreciate you and I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you. Love to do it again sometime.
Amen.